Thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to have you on the show. And I guess the question that I'm thinking, and I'd love to get your perspective on, is standing up after a fall. Someone that experiences a tragedy, someone that experiences something that's unexpected, that could literally knock someone right off their lives. How does a person do it? How does a person continue on in a positive way after getting a massive challenge?
So, Shabbat Shalom. And I heard wonderful things about your program, so it's an honor to be here. And I hear there are a couple of people with us in our little Kabbalat Shabbat here.
Yes, there are a few people watching.
A few, okay. The truth is, nobody becomes professional at this. Nothing's planned, and it's not like you bought into a deal and you were you deal with things as they come, right? I can tell you what worked for me, and first of all, I must say it's you're not alone. I mean, there's so much support out there, and sometimes you have to open a little door to let the support in. The fact that there's so many people that are just there to hug you. I mean, Corona hugs, but it still doesn't mean that you're capable of accepting it. So some of the work is being able to accept what the support that the world is offering you. I can say we experienced the most unbelievable hug that, I tend to be a little bit cynical, but I lost the ability to be cynical about what the Jewish world can offer you, and what your community can offer you, and what your family can offer you. That you really need to open within your place, the place that says, I'll be always there out helping people, but I'm allowed to accept. I'm allowed to we talk a lot about vulnerability these days, but difficult times like these are not times to build these tremendous walls that have been protecting me all the time. It's time to be weak, to accept. So
it's such a great point that you make. So many times in life, people feel that they feel bad accepting, they feel weak accepting. You're making such an astute point in that many times the ability to accept is part of the strength. It's part of the recognition that this is how I'm going to get through it. And sometimes it's a kindness to other people who want to be part of it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I want to say. It's not like now I'm only accepting, a different time I'll only give. It's life is both, right? It's about and sometimes being willing to accept is the biggest gift you can give all these people that are just dying to reach out to you. So that's a big deal, and it's a present to the world to be able to be in that place too. And besides, you juggle it. It's not like you're only doing that. You're doing both. So that's one side of it. And the other is maybe two things. One is, in Israel, when a tragedy happens or something, sad, so people might come into a shiva home and look the people in the eye and put a hand on their shoulder and say, "Tiyu chazakim," be strong. And I always feel like, sometimes I actually do it, but I feel like, running to them and saying, don't be strong, be flexible, okay?
Wow.
Because there's something about strength that it's either, it's binary. It's either I'm going to break, yes, I'm going to crack, now I'm gone. But flexible means that you have room in your life for everything, for the joy, for the sorrow, for the pain, for the wonderful things that happen. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's when you understand that you don't have to let go of your hardship in order to experience joy, for instance. Life is about, life is complex. You do everything together. So finding room in your life and this has a lot to do with grieving. It's not only this or only that. It's everything.
Yeah.
But the one thing that is most useful for me, and then I'll let you talk, is and this doesn't necessarily have to do with with tragedies. It has to do with hardship also, or challenges. Is the times when you tell yourself, I can feel pain. I don't have to become my pain. I can feel sorrow. I don't have to become my sorrow. And the truth is, it works for, I can feel anxiety. I don't have to become my anxiety. I can feel pressure. I don't have to become my pressure. In my inner landscape, there's so much more. There's, there's the pains and the blessings and the successes and the failures and the expectations and the dreams and the disappointments, and it's all there. And it feels like a person could choose to take this bucket full of black paint and spill it all over their life. I guess people wouldn't be judgmental to them, but I can only speak for myself. To me, it felt stupid. It felt like a terrible ingratitude to all the blessings we have in our life, and we have so many blessings in our life. So it's like, if you take a metaphor from photography. You can focus on your wound or on your pain or on your hardship, and it will fill up your frame easy. But you can take the picture of your life with a wide lens, and sitting right there, it's not going anywhere, but you get the full scope, and you could there's room for the blessings, and there's room for the joys, and there's room for other stuff, and so that's what works for me.
It's such a great perspective that when people are going through challenge, it's so easy for the challenge to overwhelm, because even we're programmed that way. I mean, it's, if someone goes through life and there is something of danger and something of blessing, they'll always focus on the danger. We have that fight or flight mechanism. And what you're saying is, it doesn't mean you're not discounting pain by widening the lens and recognizing that there is more in that same lens that can make the feelings where you can find your strength.
For sure. And the truth is, and again, it depends what the challenge a person is dealing with is at the moment. But sometimes there's a sense of betrayal. If I let go of this, of the pain for a minute, and I'll notice something else in my life.
Yeah.
And it's not, it doesn't work like that. It's
a very big point. I think people do feel that. I think people feel that if I allow myself to experience joy, then I will have betrayed the thing that is causing me the pain.
Yeah. The truth is, we're next week is Tisha B'Av, and there were parts of the Jewish people that said, that's it. How can we eat meat? How can we drink wine? This is all reminiscent of what we had in Bet HaMikdash. And Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi takes it ad absurdum. Okay, so don't drink water, because we used to. That's part of the nesachim we brought to Bet HaMikdash. So the idea that we were educated as Jews is you keep it in a very significant place. It never goes away, but you live. And the story I love is in one of the stories in Brachot, where in Tractate Brachot in the Talmud, where people are very happy in a wedding, and the host is frowning, and then he breaks a cup, whatever, and then comes another two stories actually of a person who people say, how could you be so happy? You're only supposed to really, really be happy in utopia, and when the days to come, when redemption comes. And he says, it's okay, because I wear my tefillin all day. And that keeps me focused. It keeps me centered. And I remember talking to, my son had just finished 11th grade when he was murdered. And I remember a couple months later speaking to his classmates, and they were beginning 12th grade, and there was kind of awkwardness of what are we going to do? And what I thought we should, I felt very strongly was I was kind of saying to them, we have our tefillin. We know we remember. Yeah. And that should liberate you to feel joy, to feel blessing, to live a full life, because it's okay. We trust you. You remember. It's right there.
Wow. I got one more question because I can spend all day with you, honestly. What do you do when you feel like you got nothing left? What do you do when you feel like you're exhausted? You have no more energy. The level of energy that is required in challenge is so much greater than that may be what's in front of you. Where do you go to draw from a well that you feel has run dry?
Wow, that's a challenging question. I rarely felt totally there, because I remember the moments where you go under your quilt and you say, I'm going to come out of here in 6 months, maybe I'll consider it. In the meantime, just leave me alone. And one of the great blessings in our life was we had very young kids, and they were all over the place, and they need what they need, and life calls back to you, and it kind of pulls you by your hair. So if a person has that kind of blessing in their life, and it's very challenging because don't you realize I'm grieving? No, thank God you don't realize, you're a kid. So you just let life call back to you, and go places with it. And I realize that not everybody has that specifically in their life. I remember places I wouldn't let my mind go to. One of the surprising things in the whole ordeal was that some of the places where it was like touching electricity, you learn very quickly what thoughts drain you. And it doesn't mean that you're suppressing or repressing or pretending like things didn't happen. You just it's like managing your energy balance and bank, and what's right for you and what's constructive for you and what could wait for a different time. And the sense of how come I'm not falling apart yet? So you say, okay, it's okay. I can always fall apart later. Right. And then there are just the simple things like movement, like music, like doing things with your body, going out to nature, enjoying good company. And also, if you feel really depleted, go to sleep.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you. I got to tell you that, you said you felt the love of the people around you. Wherever you felt, you should know that it's times a million. I mean, I was in Israel during the search. I davened for you. I davened for the boys. I thought about, and you don't even know. I mean, for every person that ever said to you, we're with you, there's 1,000 more that are right behind them that are just a plane away, or they just don't know how to get in. What you went through, we all went through. And you should know that you're a paradigm of support and chizuk for the entire Jewish nation.
So whatever it is that you say I am, it's just a reflection of everything we received and more and more. It's davka because it's a word I can't translate, davka. There's something about being Erev Tisha B'Av that reminds me of this story. And it will be the last one because I realize we don't have all, soon it's going to be Shabbat. But Galim, Gilad's mother, they had a family friend that was very busy during that time. And he was in airplanes and flying and doing stuff. And he felt like he didn't really connect to the experience. And sometimes you feel that you need to go through an emotional process, and the kids were kidnapped, and everybody was, anxious. And at some plane trip, he decided to spend the time saying Tehillim. So he was somewhere in the United States, and for the 3 hours of his flight, he was davening and davening and davening. And when he got off, and this guy, he doesn't walk around with a yarmulke when he's abroad. He walks it with, with one of these caps that Jews wear because nobody recognizes that you're
Right,
Jewish.
exactly. Like we can't tell.
So he comes down, he gets off in the airport, and he opens his phone, and there the message is that they were found with the bad news. And he bursts into tears. And then a complete stranger with a cap, the same kind of cap, comes over to him and hugs them, and they weep together. And it's like the Jewish story. Yeah? It's like being Tisha B'Av here and knowing that there are Jews all over the world holding that with you.
Yeah, there's no question. We were with 200 men from all over the world for a week on a program called JWRPO Momentum. So 200 guys were there that week, and we pulled into some restaurant, and there was a unit being trained or being disembarked to go continue the search. And these are guys that they've never been to Israel before. Forget that they're following they're just, and you can see them walking up to the soldiers. They just got to Israel for the first time, and they're like, you go find those boys. Like there was something about that moment where Klal Yisrael remembered that at the end of the day, we're just one big family. And when there's no one that doesn't, whatever. Just so you know. Hashem should bless you with bracha, simcha, nachas. Only those simchas and good things. You should have it. His neshama should have an aliyah. Should be right now next to the Eibishter, demanding that this is the Tisha B'Av that we sing and dance. He should be at the front line when Mashiach comes, and you should only have a life filled with the good that you bring to the world.
Bezrat Hashem, and Shabbat Shalom to everybody. You should have a restful Shabbat and a meaningful Shabbat, and just renew the spirit over these hours of Shabbat Kodesh.
Nice to meet you. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you so much.
Bye-bye.